Hi there. Welcome to the Health Analytic Insights Podcast. This podcast is all about creating a community of like-minded individuals who are passionate about the field of health informatics. I hope to share information and advice in topics such as health analytics, digital health, biomedical engineering, and data visualization in healthcare. And in exchange, I would love to hear from you, dear listener, about your experience and interest in this field. You can drop me a line at HealthAnalyticInsights@gmail.com, and this email, along with any references discussed during this podcast, will be listed in the show notes below. If this resonates with you, don't forget to follow and subscribe to this podcast, as I'll be releasing new episodes bi-weekly. The other day, I was reflecting on the thought that this year will be a decade since I started my undergraduate degree. I've completed both my undergrad and master's degree in biomedical engineering, and during that time, I've learned some valuable lessons. So in this podcast episode, I want to talk about 5 things I wish I knew before studying biomedical engineering. Before I dive into that, I want to give a big disclaimer. This advice is based on my own experience and may not be representative of the majority. This is based on my own experience graduating and entering the job market with a degree in biomedical engineering. And so let's get into the 5 things I wish I knew before majoring in biomedical engineering. Number 1, you might be considered jack of all trades. You might hear this term attributed to a degree in biomedical engineering. And this might be a result of the intersection that exists at the root of this degree, which is medicine and engineering. And therefore, some programs have a hodgepodge of different courses. So for example, I took courses in electrical engineering, some mechanical engineering courses, and pre-med courses. In addition, you might not be focused on a specific stream because you might be interested in creating electrical devices. And therefore, that needs both mechanical and electrical engineering knowledge. Therefore, this might result in a surface knowledge of many different disciplines within engineering and not a deep dive into a specific focus, which might be why at the end of the degree, it feels as though you are a jack of all trades, master of none, because you have a little bit of knowledge from many different vast disciplines. At least this was my own experience at the end of my degree and resulted in me applying for my master's directly from undergrad because I felt that I really needed to start to specialize in a specific area of biomedical engineering. And that's when I really started to specialize in health data and health informatics within my own master's degree. The second thing I wish I knew before entering the job market is you need to sell your skills to get a job. So selling your skills was truly important when graduating from my undergraduate and master's degree. So not only will your degree to some be completely unknown, as this is a relatively new field when compared to other established engineering degrees such as civil or mechanical engineering, recruiters and people who don't really have an understanding of engineering in particular might doubt your capabilities to do an engineering job when you have competition from civil, mechanical, and industrial engineers who they feel might be well-versed in the courses they took and might be better suited for the job. I'll never forget the story my friend told me, who was also studying biomedical engineering at the same time, when she told me she went to an engineering recruitment fair at the end of her degree, and she told the recruiter that her degree was in biomedical engineering, and in response, the recruiter gave her a blank stare and told her, "Good luck with that." So it's definitely difficult out there in these job market streets when it comes to getting an entry-level job, as people are not as willing to train individuals and are looking for, in some cases, entry-level folks having 2 to 3 years of experience. So they might not want to take a risk on you. What I was able to do to make up for this is to really play up my technical skills that I obtained during my master's degree, such as experience with R and Tableau, which is a data visualization tool. And at the end of the day, employers seem to want to know what skills can you bring to the job from day one. So really be thinking about that as you're going through your degree. What are some skills that I can obtain and I can showcase to employers? The third thing I wish I knew before starting my degree in biomedical engineering was it can be difficult to find an internship during your degree. Now, this is, of course, very highly dependent on your location. I'm based in Canada, and I found it difficult to get internship or co-op experience during my undergraduate degree in a company that was directly related to biomedical engineering. This might be, again, because the program is relatively new and there are not as many even full-time positions in comparison to either co-op or internship placements as well, too. Those could also be limited. So whereas other friends who were in co-op or internship programs in mechanical and electrical engineering seem to have an easier time finding these relevant internship opportunities within their field due to the greater number of positions available. I was lucky that I was able to find an internship opportunity at a hospital, but it was really competitive and it took me a few tries to actually get in. So given the fact that, it's really hard to even obtain these entry-level roles, having any type of experience is really a leg up. And having internship or co-op experience that you can point to when you're trying to get your first entry-level job in this competitive job market is truly important. And I found that many of my contemporaries in biomedical engineering took internships in electrical and mechanical-based companies, not necessarily doing biomedical engineering work, but just to get the work experience. So that's something that you might want to consider if you're having difficulty finding a biomedical internship or co-op placement. You might try and look for specifically a mechanical or industrial engineering company that can help you to get that work experience, which is invaluable at that stage. Now, the fourth thing that I wish I knew before studying biomedical engineering, and this is sort of related to point number 2, which is selling your skills, is that it's important to tailor your job search when it comes to looking for jobs. You really want to have an understanding of common skills which are requested by employers. For example, experience with Power BI, SQL, rather than just relying on the skills that they teach you in school, which might be outdated. So for example, in school, we learned MATLAB, and although this is a tool that is used in some industries, it wasn't really relevant to the path that I wanted to proceed on. So one thing I wish I knew was how important it is to learn technical skills in addition to the theoretical knowledge you're exposed to in university. If I could go back, I wish I would have looked at the skills that were in top demand in the analytical space, which is what I was interested in, such as R, Python, SQL, Power BI, Tableau, Click, and do some of my own self-learning prior to looking for a job. And this is why I have created several YouTube videos and podcast episodes on how individuals can create their own clinical business intelligence portfolio, where they can integrate these technical skills into a project with a clinical focus and then present this to employers to help bolster their application. So in the show notes of this episode, I will link to the YouTube video I did where I went step by step creating a dashboard in Power BI with a clinical focus that you can follow along, recreate on your own, and link to on your resume when applying to jobs in the health informatics field. So I think my thinking was I was very focused on the soft skill questions that they ask in interviews, such as what are your greatest weaknesses, what are your strengths, how do you work in a team environment, etc. And career guidance programs at school do well in preparing you for these soft skill questions. But if you're looking for a more technical job, it's important to have some experience with these popular technical skills. And many of these programs are open source, which you can download for free, such as R and Python. There are tons of courses, low to free courses online that can help you to learn these tools. And when you're in school and you have some extra free time, this is a great opportunity to work on projects that you can link to in your resume and have something to talk about with employers during interviews, along with any school projects or capstone projects that you might have completed. So in school, we were more focused on learning MATLAB, which is a good tool to learn, but a tool such as R, Python, and SQL would have been more relevant for the path I was going down. So if you want to learn how to use Power BI in healthcare data, again, don't forget to check out the video I will link in the show notes on building your own clinical business intelligence portfolio project. And now the last thing I wish I knew before studying biomedical engineering is the possibility of minoring or doing a joint degree in biomedical engineering in a more established program such as computer or software engineering, and then maybe just minoring in biomedical engineering. When I think back to 10 years ago, I was into very much absolutes. I like biomedical engineering, so I'm going to do this program. Not knowing that life can be flexible and it's quite common to change your degree, change your career. But I think I was stuck in the mindset that you must make this life-changing decision at 18 and stick to it until the end of time. Overall, I don't regret doing my degree in biomedical engineering. I still am passionate about the healthcare field and work in health informatics, which is very much related to my degree. But I do think that there's a lot of benefit when it comes to joint degrees, because it allows you to pivot and not be siloed into one specific stream. If one part of your degree is more employable than the other, you can definitely play up that side more. In addition, in your career, there are often times when you can pivot into areas which are of interest to you. And over time, your degree becomes less important and the experience and value you bring to organizations is much more valuable. Therefore, if I could go back, I would probably do a joint degree in electrical and biomedical, or mechanical and biomedical, or most likely computer science and biomedical. The possibilities are endless. So I hope these tips can be helpful to you when considering if a degree in biomedical engineering is right for you. As I said before, I don't regret doing this degree, but there are some nuances that I had no idea about until I actually went through with the program, and things I wish I knew before studying biomedical engineering. Thank you for listening to the Health Analytic Insights Podcast. I'd love to hear from you about topics I should cover in future episodes. Please consider subscribing and leaving a review. Have a wonderful day.